Who wants to summarize really quick? Inflation. Yes.
Money is losing value.
All right. Thank you. Money is losing value. How do we track what are some of the key indicators to track inflation, whether it's going up or going down? What do we actually look? What do we Google?
The price of a gas.
Price of gas. I set an all-time record last week. It's like $90 for my take.
Price of basic necessity.
Okay. And so what is that? How do you what is that called?
Bread. Consumer price index.
Consumer price index, right? So there's a lot of this out there. So this is tracking, and you can see right here, we have an average of 3% inflation. It's actually been below that for quite a bit, but last month we hit an extreme high of 6.2%. All right, 6.2%. I don't know how long that's going to last, but why are we seeing this? What are some of the reasons we're seeing a higher level of inflation right now versus last year? Yes.
The supply chain is the supply and demand, supply chain flow.
Supply chain absolutely could affect it. Yes.
Printing so much money.
So a lot of money coming into a lot of people having more money than they did before. That definitely affects it. There's a lot of factors, right? And whether this is a temporary spike or whether we start to see something at a higher level, everyone has different opinions. I think we're going to see something consistently higher. I absolutely do. That's why I want to start buying much more properties than I have before. So the question is, what does a 6% inflation mean to you? What does this mean to the money in your bank right now? Let's do some quick math. So if you put $100,000 in the bank 12 months ago, it's now worth $94,000. That makes sense? Simplified. If you make $100,000 a year, it's now like you're making $94,000 a year. That's what inflation does to us through the value of money. So what is this over time if this continues? If you are losing $6,000 for every $100,000, you're losing $60,000 for every $1 million you have in the bank. Come on in. So over 10 years, let's talk about this. What does 10 years look like with inflation? And we don't know if it's going to stay up or go down or go higher, right? We just don't know. But I just ran some numbers as this. If you leave $100,000 in the bank today and forget about it, seems like it's safe, right? Better than putting it in your mattress, I guess. Check back in 10 years, it will be worth $53,000 at a 6% inflation if that stays for 10 years. If you park $1 million in the bank today and check back in 10 years, you would have lost $470,000 of value. Clearly, it might not be exactly that. It'll probably go up, it'll probably go down. But most people, we can't see and feel inflation on a daily basis until you go to the pump for the first time in a long time, and it's just ridiculous. But outside of that, it creeps up on us. So we're seeing that quite a bit. And being able to protect your money or hedge against inflation is extremely important. And there are many ways to do that. So let's talk about that real quick. We talked about sharks, right? Anybody, any marine biologists in here? All right, so you got to verify this. I heard, and I may be wrong, sharks cannot just sit still. Okay. So if they stop moving, what happens to them? I don't know if they're going to die, but maybe they don't breathe as well, right? So the answer is, I'm not a marine biologist. The answer is possibly, it might happen, but your money will absolutely die if it doesn't move. If you just park it and you're just saving it, it will continue to die slowly, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6% per year. And so much of, we're going to talk about retirement, we're going to talk about financial freedom. So much of our planning is based on putting money in the bank. It's a flawed system. It's a flawed way to look at that. And we'll talk about that as well. So how can you hedge against inflation? What are some of the ways people decide to protect themselves or hedge against inflation?
Cryptocurrency.
Crypto, okay.
Real estate.
Stocks, real estate, bonds,
Gold.
gold. Oh, I thought you were raising your hand up. So obviously, we're here to talk about real estate. There are many ways to do this, right? Moving your money for an investment for returns. In minimum return of what?
6%.
6% keeps you even, right? What does 5% do for you?
Even 6% doesn't keep you.
Well, good point. But what does 5% do? All right, you're excited, you got a 5% return on your portfolio. You're losing at least 1% every single year. Right? We just don't see that. Reality is we need to understand that. All right, so here is, if you buy a property for $100,000, let's just say cash, and appreciates in value 6% per year for the next 10 years. There's some seats over here. You good? How much purchasing power have you gained with your equity if inflation was 6% over that same period of time? It's none, right? So the value of that property, 6% per year for 10 years, would be $179,000. So that's great, right? You bought something for $100,000, it's now worth $179,000. You bought it cash, so everything is equity for you. So in theory, that's your money. However, the $179,000 would have a purchasing power of $100,000. Right? So real estate done the wrong way doesn't protect you. Everyone knows I'm a fan of leverage. One of the best things about real estate is there are other great investments out there. But what makes real estate by far superior is the fact that you can leverage. You can use other people's money to leverage your smaller portion of money and find more investments and scale. Right? So we have this, if you buy a property for $400,000 with $100,000 down, that appreciates in value. Same scenario as before, 6% per year for 10 years. But inflation has been going crazy. It's been 6% for that exact same period of time. What does that look like? Is it the same result? So your new home value, 6% per year for 10 years is $716,000. However, that's now $416,000 in equity. If you put $100,000, you increase a little bit. But during that period, you paid off $71,000 just with paying your mortgage payments by paying the principal, right? You're paying a little bit of principal every single time. So combined, $487,000 in equity. So with a 6% per year inflation rate, that would be roughly $262,000 of purchasing power. So same investment, $100,000 in real estate, using leverage at a 25% down rate allows you to beat inflation even at a crazy level like 6%, right? By the factor of at least 100%, if not more.